Techland has delivered one of the biggest improvements to Dying Light 2 since release. The gut feeling update brought so much good into this game. It breathed so much life back into it, and I'm vastly impressed. This is one of the first major updates, a part of the new 2023 roadmap that primarily focuses on overhauling some of the core aspects. And this update tackled gore, combat, transmog, weapon crafting, while also adding in additional support for Techland GG to go and get the community more engaged and connected with one another. And I can confidently say that this update is almost perfect. When it comes to things aside from the gore, they need a little bit of work. Certain mechanics and systems, they need a little bit more fine-tuning and a push in the right direction to meet expectations. But in this video, I'm not going to focus on that. That's a conversation for another time. I'm going to go and fully flesh out some of those concerns in next month's review. But I'm primarily focusing on the gore here and only the gore, because honestly, it's beautiful and it deserves its own video. There is so much more dismemberment that occurs. You can slash nearly every zombie in half now. Every single limb can be cut and chopped into 3 pieces. Guts spill out. You can see visible bones, ribs, eyeballs, and literal brains just leaking out of the zombie you just slashed. You can smash heads, rip out chunks of flesh, see visible holes in the enemy's bodies now. It's so nasty, but it puts a smile on my face because it's exactly what I wanted. You could do literally anything and everything to your enemies now with a weapon, and it feels so incredibly satisfying. And when you go and compare gameplay from this update to before, it really makes you wonder how we even played it beforehand. Looking back at old footage, it just looks so unengaging, so lifeless. It looked like swinging at your enemies was just a chore. This old combat and brutality led to so much dissatisfaction that turned many players away. And having your hits and attacks overall not feel good, it makes gameplay feel awkward and quite unfulfilling. But Techland cooked. They spent a good amount of time working on this, and I have to say, when it comes to the gore, they over-deliver. We can now go and rip apart volatiles and special infected. That was something that wasn't even in the original Dying Light. The gore feels like a proper upgrade from its previous title, and there's not many areas where you can say that when it comes to Dying Light 2. But my favorite part, not only did they change it visually, but audibly. Let me explain after a quick message from this sponsor. So before we do proceed, this video is actually sponsored by Cakewalk. It's a new and innovative way for fans of the channel to express their support entirely free. And the best part is you can actually earn some extra money by doing so. Let me explain. To begin, Cakewalk allows for you to tip creators by completing advertiser-sponsored activities, and every activity that you complete, you can also earn some cashback, so we're both making money here. You can then go ahead to use this cashback to redeem gift cards and other various goodies too. So for example, if you head to the link down below in the description and go to my offer wall, you will see a huge list of tasks that you can complete. You'll also see how much you will tip me and how much you will earn in the process. And I gotta say, the offer wall, it's very clean. It's very easy to navigate for both you and also creators. And if you're a creator interested in setting this up for your channel, I gotta say the process is very seamless and it only takes a couple seconds to get it going and registering. Once you're up and running, you can see analytics from your biggest supporters, what activities they're frequently completing, and much more. So to get started today, use the link down below in the description, open up your first offer wall and earn some extra cash back, while also going ahead and supporting your favorite creator. But again, thank you so much to Cakewalk for sponsoring this video. Let's get back to it now. Now, I must praise Techland for going and making huge adjustments to the sound design. Remember how we were talking about smashing heads, chunks of flesh, that whole ordeal? Well, now the infected react accordingly to your hits, thereby making your attacks feel that much more rewarding. During their live stream, they went in depth with how brutal the new sound effects are. I really appreciated the sound design section. This allows you to gain a perspective on all of the pieces that are now working together and making sure your hits are that much more enjoyable. Hearing the bones crack is just so oddly delightful. For example, if I hit a zombie in the mouth, you will start hearing unsettling noises of someone hissing and gasping for air. If you hit them in their lungs, those sounds are upped by 100, like their insides are drowning by a good old red liquid. I love it. The sound design complements this new gory system wonderfully. And honestly, I do want to say that we are already seeing the benefits of other zombie games being available on the market now. Dead Island 2, it's out now. Their gore system is exceptional and it's one of a kind. And to me, there are certain elements in here, certain elements in Dying Light 2 that looked very much inspired from Dead Island 2. And that's a good thing. We want this zombie game and this zombie game to influence one another for the better. All the players and communities from both sides benefit immensely from this. You really think Techland just happened to release this update a day before Dead Island 2 releases? That's not the case at all. I'd be willing to bet my left nut that this was done entirely on purpose. The new zombie game that was built on a procedural flesh system just happens to release after this update. Come on now. And I think the way they improved and updated the gore and brutality in Dying Light 2, it just surpassed my expectations. I want to say that Techland did the very best that they could considering the circumstances. Now obviously, this game is never going to reach the levels of brutal combat being showcased in a game like Dead Island 2. I see a lot of people wanting them to achieve that. But here's the thing, Techland would need to do a huge amount of work and basically rebuild their game from the ground up to get a system like Dead Island 2. That's just not going to happen, and that's okay. Dead Island 2 will forever hold that edge over them because from the very beginning, that's how their game was developed. But with what Techland did here is a close second when it comes to melee focused zombie game. I personally think, maybe it's a hot take, but Techland could leave the gore, the current state of how the gore is, exactly as it is, and keep it like that for the rest of their 5-year support. They have proven and delivered on that aspect. If your new gore system makes me question if I'm going to get age restricted on YouTube and I'm going to have to perform some fancy editing skills to blur out some things, I know you did an exceptional job on it. And if Techland goes and gives these other core systems the same love, attention, and dedication that they apply to the brutality here, we are in good hands and I'm very much hopeful for the future. But I do have to say, it does feel that the gore was the spotlight of this update, and other various things that were included alongside of it weren't as polished as they should be. You know how some of the virals just have an ungodly amount of health for no reason at all? That should be fixed. I'm literally swinging at this guy for 30 seconds and he's still alive. Why? And we'll go more into detail next week about this. But some of the issues that arose are with the ragdolls and the physics being unpredictable and maybe working 25% of the time and not on every zombie. It's a little bit upsetting to see. Overall though, I have to give major props to Techland and Timon for meeting expectations on the brutality. I have no major complaints. I could give little suggestions on maybe allowing bodies to be chopped up more once they're on the ground, but that's a nitpick. Like I said, Techland could leave it exactly as is for the next 3 years, and I'd be perfectly fine with it. And with that said, do you agree? Do you want to burn me on a cross because you disagree? Let me know down below. Again, thank you so much to Cakewalk for sponsoring this video. Bye-bye now.